This week on Muscle Cars and Hot Rods, we're going to get the trunk floor welded into the 73 Challenger, then we'll get the deck filler tacked into place and get the quarter panel off it. So check it out.
There's no way up. Oh, you're not out. You know, just need up in it. Hey, was. So, ich mir fort, you're not out here. Yeah,
Here we are on the rear trunk floor of the 73 Challenger, all prepped and ready to go. Notice we had to take out the tail panel to get it in. But yeah, prepped. So we're going to begin our fit. There's the panel down below it. And then here's the tail panel we had to save because they don't make a 73 Challenger. So we just had to drill out all the spot welds and remove it. Here we are with the trunk floor all clamped in and ready for weld. Okay, and as you can see, we've got the trunk floor all welded in and ground down. As far as I can't go any further on the trunk floor because I'm waiting for gas tank supports to be welded on from the bottom, and I'm going to order those brand new. So I've turned my attention to the rear deck filler. You can see I've got it taken off the car at this point, and before I took it off, I went ahead and made a bunch of measurements so I would have reference points for putting the new piece on. The reason we went ahead and replaced this is because of stuff like this. They tried to go ahead and weld a rusty area in here with a MIG welder and kind of make the metal up, and then they filled it with Bondo to hide that. And as you can see at this point, the lip for the trunk seal goes way up and then kicks back down. Well, that would have never sealed, and it would have always allowed water in. In addition to that, they welded the supports for the trunk hinges in the wrong spots, and a bunch of other sloppy little mistakes like that. So here's the new piece that we're going to weld in, and it's in pretty good shape. Size and everything looks good, so I'm happy with that. And then we got a couple of gutter rails too. We'll put those in the car. Again, we use Auto Metal Direct, which we got from Nick's Classic Auto Parts. And we're starting to get our first look of the cowl going in, or the deck filler going in. And I just wanted to make one mention to you. I know that I always kind of show these panels quickly and tell you how nice they fit and everything, and they do for the most part. But if you think that aftermarket body panels are just gonna fall right into place, that's not the case. And here's one example of this. You can see that we got a pretty nice little line forming here, and then I don't know if it's gonna show up. We start to dive away right up in here. And it's not that big of a gap difference. I've probably got to make up about an 1/8 inch right there. But that's the kind of stuff that you should spend a little time manipulating when you're fitting your aftermarket pieces. Okay, we've been sort of taking you along for the ride with the 73 Challenger, putting floors in it, putting a rear deck filler, a trunk floor in it, and now we're going to show you a little bit about the quarter panel. Of course, this isn't really a how-to video. I never intended to do anything like that, but I just kind of take you through the process and show you what's going through my mind. And let's begin the quarter panel. You can see the quarter panel on the Challenger, and what we've gone ahead and done is fit the door and the deck lid to it, and making sure we're going to have what we want when we begin to cut the quarter off and fit the new one. I always like to fit my adjacent panels to it before I begin, so that when I put the new one up there, I have a point of reference to start with. Okay, for the most part, the deck filler is tacked into place. I'm not going to do the final full-on weld until we get the quarter panel in. We got the deck lid fitting, and we've just got the tail panel screwed into place for right now. as a point of reference. So the first step in removing this quarter panel is to grab the air chisel and decide where you're going to make your cuts. Now we're already loose from the car from about this deck filler on down through the trunk dropout. So yeah, that's what we're starting with right there. And here we are all cleaned up. And it's at this point we can see the damage in the rust damage in the wheel, inner or outer wheel well, and then the trunk drop out. So they're a little further gone. I could probably make the pieces, but I'm sure they're going to be offered at a reasonable price, so we'll probably go aftermarket with those as well. Okay, and this here's a shot. We've got the trunk drop off removed and half of the wheel well. I'm going to go ahead and stay away from all the structure and just do a butt weld to get the back half of the new aftermarket wheel well in. Seems how this is still in such good shape. Shop update on my 72 Dodge Dart. We've got the right quarter panel all body worked along with the rocker panel, and just about ready for prime. I'll get you a shot of it when we get in primer. Okay, this just in from Don's Hot Rod Shop in Tucson is my 3500 stall from Hughes. So yeah, if anybody needs a 2500 stall, I got one for sale. Alright people, on this week's cool new tool update, Al got himself some 30-inch wood.
Yeah.
That's a 30-inch Sun Chaser tool sanding block. You got some 150 grit sanding paper on it. Hey Al, why do we like long sanding block?
Longer the sanding block, the straighter you're going to cut all those tiny waves that are in the panel.
That's for sure. So he's going to go to town on the Seth 69 Dart. Yeah, you want to use the longest sanding block possible for a panel in order to make the car as straight as you can get it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right there for this week's episode. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll probably get the wheel well and trunk dropout in the mail, get those installed, and get that quarter panel on for you. So come back and see us again. Okay, and one last thing to close out the episode. We just got a shipment from the Auto Metal Direct and Nick's Classic Auto, and the rest of our parts are in. At this point, the Challenger just needs a door and fender. And check out the rally hood. Oh yes, there's no like a pause. There's no half, you know, just need to be. Hey, was. So ich mir fort, there's no half here. Ja, I'm saying, so ich ne Paar Star as not.